Today we start with a new volume, that is SD 49B, the second part of Life of the Buddha, and that is the Life of the Buddha section 1. This volume looks into details at various aspects of the Buddha's life. This volume begins with various kinds of meditation which the Buddha teaches. This topic, of course, seems not to be directly related to this volume. It is chapter 5 of this quite long volume actually. So this section or this chapter on the dhyana helps us to understand the overall life of the Buddha, which is one of great ongoing meditation. This section 49.5b is quite a long one, over 50 pages of A4 text, and the title is Ways of Attaining Dhyana. And here in this chapter we look in some detail into the 10 Cocinas, the 8 bases of mastery, and the 8 liberations. And we also look at, in this chapter also examines the Attaka Abhibayatana Sutta, A8.65. So, of course, there's not enough time to go through all these 50 over pages. I'm only giving a kind of introduction, more of a kind of a prospective talk to inspire and encourage you to read this chapter for yourself in all its detail, bit by bit, step by step, until you understand all the teachings here. And this chapter goes beyond the basic meditation theory and practice. So if you're not familiar with meditation at all, it's good for you to begin with the simpler text first. For example, you might like to read the chapter on dhyana, which is a simpler introduction, or read up something about the 3 trainings, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Anyway, you can still have a kind of an idea of this advanced aspect of meditation and try to fit this into your meditative life when you start meditating, or maybe you're already meditating. So this chapter covers 3 main areas. The first are the 10 Cocinas plus the light Cocinas, actually 11. These are the tools that enhances our meditation to help us focus deeper into Jhana practice. In fact, I've not met any lay people who practice the 10 Cocinas yet, so that is why it's useful to have some description of this type of meditation in case you are interested. This chapter also gives you details, practical details on how to create or how to look for this Cocina device or something that can be used as for Cocina meditation. Now then the second section are the 8 bases of mastery, Atta Abhibayatana. These are probably late Abhidhamma kind of theory on the various kinds of meditation, the ways of focusing the mind. And then you have the 8 liberations. This go a little higher if you like. And there is the attainment of cessation, the last of the liberations. So this is in a sense the goal of your meditation. So this is a very quick overview on the 3 categories, the 3 types of meditative practices. The Cocinas are the tools, the basis of mastery is the way of practice, and the 8 liberations are the goal of meditation. leading to awakening. Now, in this today's talk, I will tell you a bit about what dhyana is, the 5 dhyana factors, a bit about dhyana experience, and various kinds of meditation, a bit about the Cocina as an overview of this chapter. Now let's look at page 6, table 1, the 10 Cocina bases, just to give you an idea of what they're used for. Now the 10 Cocina bases are, first of all, we've got the 4 elements: earth, water, fire, wind. And generally this can be practiced by any kind of personality type. In other words, lustful type, hating type, deluded type, faithful type, a mixture of them, speculative type, and so on. And then you have the color Cocinas: blue, white, red, yellow. Okay, or the list here is blue, yellow, red, and white. I've not done enough research to tell you why these 4 colors are chosen, other than they are kind of the Indian primary colors, and they're also colors which are easily found in natural circumstances, especially flowers and so on. And then there is light Cocina, which seems to be added later, maybe late in the Buddha's time or even after his time. And then there is space Cocina, and then there is the consciousness Cocina, which is very difficult to do, which actually refers to the formless attainment. So the space Cocina, light Cocina, are also suitable for all kinds of personalities. Those with strong hating, anger tendencies should do the color Cocina. The color Cocinas are kind of very helpful in creating the right mood. Of course, these are general remarks. Even color Cocinas, for example, you have to try out for yourself and see how do you feel in this kind of environment of color, or this color that you are reflecting on. So you have 2 kinds of colors. One is the Cocina itself. That is Cocina meditation. The other is the kind of room, a kind of space that you use for meditation, and the color that pervades that kind of environment. So let's say if blue gives you that peaceful setting, you should use it. So these color Cocinas are also useful in psychological settings. For example, for certain kinds of people, maybe if the room has got predominant color of yellow or white, it might kind of enhance the peacefulness of this person's personality. So these are all very interesting areas for research and study, and of course practice. So do look up more details on this 10 Cocinas or 11 Cocinas. Now let me go on into a bit of what meditation is about, especially jhana meditation. Whenever we talk about Buddhist practice, we often talk about the 3 training, sikkhataya. Sikha means training. In other words, we walk the path. Now this path is not yet the path of awakening. It is a kind of steps towards the path of awakening. Those who walk the path of awakening are already at least stream winners. So we are kind of still approaching that direction. So the first thing, of course, is we have to keep our body and speech in order. Those are the precepts. That's the training of sila, moral virtue. The idea of keeping the body and speech, in other words, the precepts in order, is so that we are physically ready for practice, and also we don't have too much burden to handle, too much baggage to deal with, in other words. So we prepare ourselves mentally, at least before we go into meditation. That is kind of briefly stated in practical terms. Then we go on to meditation, the samadhi, Sikha, the training in mental concentration. In other words, learning to let go of, number one, unnecessary thoughts, unhealthy thoughts, and then cultivate wholesome thoughts, like the four positive emotions: loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And from there we progress to let go of thoughts and views and so on, go deeper into meditation. And even though we may not attain dhyana or very deep meditation, we can, with some peace of mind at the end of our meditation, reflect on the nature of impermanence. And in that way, we cultivate wisdom bit by bit. And this is the third training, Panya Sikha. And we use this wisdom to look around, whatever happens to us, inside us, outside us, we reflect as being impermanent. So in very simple way, those are the three trainings. And as we go deeper, we become more focused. We attain what's called Jhana in Pali, or dhyana in Sanskrit and English. Very simply, dhyana is a very deep level of mental concentration where the body is all, we have let go of all that is the body, at least the five senses, all seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching are suspended. We let go of them. We don't even feel pain in this kind of deep meditation. And the mind is becoming more focused upon itself. The mind doesn't need to process any more of the five senses at this stage. So that's one simple way of putting it, when the mind has completely transcended the five senses and also keeps transcending the various levels of the mind itself. One theoretical way of understanding the dhyana, of course, is in terms of what I call the five dhyana factors: Jhana, Jhana plus Anga. Once you attain the first jhana, it is characterized by five factors. It is 2-2-1, which makes up five. The first pair is Vitakka Vichara, which we can provisionally translate as initial application or sustained application, that is during meditation. In daily life, Vitakka Vichara occurs as thinking and pondering. In other words, our mind looks for an idea and then it kind of stays with the idea, looking and staying. So you have the mind, initial application, directs itself to the object and stays with the object, examines the object, if you like. It has been compared to something like Vitakka is like the striking of a bell. And when you strike the bell goes tang, the sound kind of, you hear the sound. So, initial application, sustained application. That is the first two dhyana factors. The mind sees the object, stays with it. And then the second pair, Piti, Sukha. Piti can be translated provisionally as zest or as a joyful interest. This joy makes you stay on with this wonderful object, say the breath. And then there is Sukha, a kind of gentler form, more pervasive form of joy. They both are actually joy. It's just that Piti is more exuberant, in a sense more physical, if you like, and Sukha is more gentle, more. One way of looking at it is to see Piti or zest, joyful interest, as slightly cognitive. It's a joy that sees the peace and says, "Wow, I'm so happy," something like that. Slightly cognitive. Now, when we talk about meditation, we cannot take all this terminology too seriously. They just help us kind of conceptually understand how to move on from idea to idea in meditation. Having said that, when we talk about Sukha, it's more of an affective experience, a kind of a direct experience of this joy. Okay, so you have this piti, seeing this peacefulness, and you say, wow, this is wonderful, looking at this peacefulness, and then you just feel peaceful, affective, you feel it, direct experience. That's when we are looking at it. So there you are, you have 4 factors. The last one is to do with concentration, the mind being focused. This is not mentioned in the first jhana. The first jhana is a kind of general idea of what's going on, and you're kind of unified, the mind's unified what's going on before it. Now what's interesting is as you progress through the 4 stages, the 5 jhana factors diminish. So in the second dhyana, Vitakka Vichara, factor 1, factor 2 disappear. There's no more initial application and sustained application. In other words, any kind of thinking, the slightest cognitive activity is gone. It's total feeling. That is the second jhana. Okay, there is second jhana. In other words, you have joyful interest, piti, you have sukha, this joyful, comfortable joy, and then of course you have samadhi, or very simply one-pointedness of the mind. And then when this exuberant piti or this joyful interest is gone, there's this peaceful joy called sukha. That's the third jhana. Now in the 4th jhana, even this joy, sukha, also disappears. This kind of gentle bubbling, simmering joy is gone. There's equanimity, total peace. That is deeply joyful. It's the 4th jhana. Okay, so those are called technically the form jhanas, rupa jhanas, because technically if someone were to die practicing this kind of meditation, or in this kind of meditation, they'll be reborn in a form world. Now the form world is like a kind of, it's a dimension where the beings do not have a physical body like ours. Let's say that they are devas of of great brilliance, of light, pure energy. Now in the next stage are the formless jhanas, arupa jhanas. So how do we progress from form jhana into the formless jhana? The answer, the key is in the 4th dhyana. All the 4 formless dhyanas or jhanas actually are subtler, ever subtler form of the 4th jhana. So imagine this meditator is in the 4th jhana, his mind is equanimous, very peaceful, and he comes out of this meditation, and then he kind of directs his mind again with that beautiful, peaceful mind, and he surveys his mind, and he sees this boundless space. So in other words, his meditation is that of total spaciousness, complete, infinite spaciousness, if you like, speaking in a mental way. So that is the first formless jhana, boundless consciousness. Then, this person goes on sitting for as long as he likes, practicing as long as he likes until he masters this formless jhana. Then he comes out of it one day, and then he knows, okay, I've been watching this wonderful boundlessness of space. Then he examines what is it that watches the boundless space, because the boundless space is the object of the 5th jhana, if you like. That is the first formless jhana. So he lets go of that object. In other words, now what is watching that object? It's consciousness, of course, right? So this time he goes a little deeper. Notice again here is letting go, in the 4 form jhanas, there are the 5 jhana factors that we renounce. Now in the 4 formless dhyanas, we let go of the mental aspect bit by bit. So in the first formless jhana, the meditator lets go of the idea of boundless space, and by focusing on the mind that watches this, that experiences this boundless space, that's consciousness. So he observed this consciousness, and it's everywhere, this boundless consciousness. So that is the second formless dhyana. It's called the base of boundless consciousness. And he goes on practicing, and then one day when he's ready, he decides to go a stage higher. And to do that, he says, okay, I'm going to let go of this object, that is boundless consciousness. Once you let go of boundless consciousness, there's nothing left. There's no more consciousness. So in other words, there's nothing. But what's interesting here, in the subtlety of the mind at that level, nothingness is also an object. So this mind focuses on this object known as nothingness. This is the third formless dhyana, the formless dhyana of nothingness. And he goes on meditating until he's very good in it. And remember, the Bodhisattva went to Avarakalana, right? And he learns this. And then later he went to Udakarama Buddha and then Rama's method. So this is where he comes to the last of the formless jhana. How do you attain the last of the formless jhana, the fourth formless jhana? By letting go this mental focus of nothingness. In other words, now nothingness is renounced. No more object of nothingness. In other words, at this level, the mind has become so subtle, we cannot say that there is or there is no consciousness. So there is a difficult level to really talk about. It's in Pali, it's called Neva Sanyana Sanyayatana, the base of neither perception nor non-perception. So we leave it at that. It's so deep, so subtle, we can't say there is consciousness or there is no consciousness. Note also here in this meditative term, the word for consciousness here is sanya. So here again, as I mentioned many times before in my talks, in early Buddhism we do not have so much of technical terms. So here, for example, usually we know the word for consciousness in Pali is vijnana. But in this term, very long term for the fourth formless dhyana, sanya is the word for consciousness. Because the term is so long, sanya is just 2 syllables easier. Imagine if we use vijnana, which is 3 syllables, quite a long word. Anyway, that's just to remind ourselves that the early Buddhist texts have very little technicality. Okay, so that's a very quick survey, a very quick tour of the 8 meditative states. All right. Now let's have a general idea. Let's say a simple meditator's idea, or even a non-meditator's idea, what happens in meditation. Now, in jhana meditation especially. Now, I already told you just now that when all the 5 senses have subsided and we have transcended them, we attain jhana. Let's just use that working definition. Now, so this is where we do have a very interesting description of what happens in jhana. in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, what we may call the Buddha's Atuma experience. And this is in D16, the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, and this is found in section 4.32 in that sutta. Basically, the story is like this. The Buddha went to deep meditation in this threshing house. It's not a threshing season, so it's an open house, a very quiet place, very spacious. He sits there and meditates, and there is this big storm, very loud with thunder and rain and so on. But he goes to deep meditation, he doesn't hear a thing. Now, the interesting thing is this. This is where some scholars get confused with the nature of dhyana. The meditator is, in a sense, aware of what's going on in his meditation. Again, you remember, all these words are being used just enough for us to understand what's going on. If you get into technicalities, we'll never be able to talk anything about meditation. For example, I wouldn't say that he recognizes what's going on in his meditation, that he won't be meditating, he's thinking. And yet he knows what's going on in meditation. So there's some level of knowing, if you like. So here is where we need to understand the early Buddhist conception of knowing, especially in terms of meditation. You have different levels of knowing. There are many words for knowing anyway. Someone should write a thesis on the Buddhist theory of knowledge. Well, I think someone did, but maybe go into some finer aspects of it. Normally when we say to know in Western psychology, we use the word cognize. And then there is the other word, there's no verb for the other word, it seems affective. In other words, well, the verb is to feel, okay? A kind of feeling. You have experiencing and feeling, okay? They kind of, they go together, okay? But they're not, they're parallel, but they don't meet. So here, let's say, if you're listening to me and you're thinking, that's cognizing, okay? But if you feel, say, wow, this is wonderful, I'm listening to meditation and you're feeling so happy, that is an affective experience. So there is thinking, there's feeling. Now in meditation, when the five senses subside, when the five senses are transcend, obviously all cognitive experiences stop, because cognition only occurs with the five senses. However, cognition does occur with the mind, but without the five physical senses, which are, in a manner of speaking, gross. In other words, there is this object you have to deal with, a physical object. The mental objects are more subtle, they're just thoughts. So we can say this affective experience, this feeling experience in meditation is very subtle. So this meditator in jhana, he knows what's going on. For example, the Buddha sitting in deep meditation, he notices this joy, this peace. He can feel it. That's as far as we can say. He knows there is this joy, there is this peace. It's like you're watching a movie. You're absorbed in this movie. You're following the story, and you don't hear anything else going on around you, the people talking around you, or there could be a fire outside but you're not aware of it. You're absorbed in this movie, something like that. So here the meditator, the Buddha in this case, is absorbed in this deep, wonderful joy. Sometimes jhana is called absorption for this reason. So he goes to deep meditation for a few hours. And then when his meditation was over, the thunderstorm probably has stopped, there was this crowd which has gathered outside. And then he asked what happened. And the people said, don't you know, there was this big thunderstorm and then a few farmers and cattle were killed and the thunder was so loud. And Buddha said, I didn't hear anything. Right? So this is the example of jhana experience. So this is where we have to understand that during jhana meditation, we do not know what's going on out there in the world. We are not affected by it. We are in deep sense of joy within, right? But we we have this internal clock where we know when to come out the meditation, just as the Buddha did during the first 49 days after his meditation. So there you are. We have a kind of very quick survey of jhana here. Now, jhana is not easy to attain. Don't plan to attain jhana, because the more you plan, the less likely you're going to get it. Jhana only occurs when there's a total lack of planning, total lack of wanting to experience it, total lack of cognition, so to speak. In other words, we've got to set aside all our thinking about anything, our views. We just meditate using various methods that we've learned, taught by the Buddha. We let go of all the five senses so that we're at peace with ourselves. If we can do that, then one day, if we are really focused, we have really learned to truly renounce. Meditation is the ultimate practice of renunciation. So you don't need to be a monk to renounce. We can go through meditation itself. So you let go of the senses, then the mind remains. Then you watch the mind, let go of thoughts, let go of views. Then you get jhana. Or maybe you get jhana before that. When you let go of the thoughts temporarily, letting go of views is a bit difficult. It's only temporarily you can do that, but with regular practice, as you attain the various path knowledges, then of course you can let go more and more views until in the end, clear away all views, then you have attained Arahathood. Alright, so that is a quick tour of the nature of meditation and jhana in early Buddhism, a kind of introduction to this SD 49.5b, ways of attaining dhyana. I hope you will read this article, better still practice meditation and enjoy it. Have a peaceful life. Bring peace to everyone you meet everywhere. Now let us close with a short reflection. Buddhism is a teaching of peace at all levels. Peace around us, peace with us, and peace inside us. The highest peace, of course, is through meditation, through jhana, and this peace is very useful to us because it brings wisdom and liberation to us. It brings awakening just the way the Buddha himself has experienced this awakening. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good karma. With the power of such good karma, may we be empowered with wisdom and knowledge to aspire to attain at least stream winning in this life itself, and also inspire others to do the same. And by all the good deeds we have done, by the power of the three jewels, let us send out our loving kindness to all our loved ones and teachers. May they be well, may they be happy. All those who have supported us, may they be well and happy too. And also, by the same token, by the power of the three jewels, may those who are seeking the dhyana, those who have difficulties with the dharma, with those who have wrong views, may they too see the true teaching of the Buddha in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.